What's up, guys? Let's talk horror movies here. Bringing guys a Blu-ray update for 2025. I had a video uploaded earlier in the day from a couple days ago that was gonna be it was an hour long, and it got aborted while I was at work. Um, on my break, it was before I went into work. It was there, and then when I checked on break, it was canceled. So I'm going to get into uh, my update, but I'm going to go as fast. So these first three are are special because these are mod manufactured on demand or bootlegs. We got Spider-Man the animated series, Goosebumps the completed series. Um, this was on Etsy. I think I got it through Etsy, or no, I got this through eBay. So if you are looking for this, might still be there, but I don't know. And then Missing Nights, this was through Etsy. All great series that I enjoyed as a kid. So 4Ks, F1 the movie. I just recently watched this, and I didn't get to put it in my top list of 2025, unfortunately. It's definitely in the top 11 or something like that, but I didn't get a chance to really rank it there because I already put my top 10 list out. But it might go in for weapons on a rewatch because when I talked about weapons, I didn't feel as enthusiastic as I feel about this one. I know it's kind of weird, but did really enjoy that. Great performances, visuals, and everything. Has a good behind the special features. It has the anime of a crash inside the F1 table read, how it was filmed, and all those things. I'll try to show as much as I can. Betterman 4K. This was the UK. The US release was sold out. And if you want to find the US with the slipcover, it is expensive through eBay, and that's really annoying. I probably should have jumped on it when I could have, but I didn't because I didn't think I was going to run out or find it at a price that. So I got this like for $40. Love this movie. It's one of my favorite biopics. Definitely check it out. Jurassic World Rebirth. This is one of my Christmas presents. I really enjoyed it. I think I love the new cast, and visually it's really breathtaking. Gareth Edwards, I think, brings back a visual aesthetic that was missing since Fallen Kingdom. I think those were the two best Jurassic World cinematography, visuals wise. I think the D-Rex is really cool. So there's some cool stuff in here. So I think I want to see where they can go. But again, how interesting can they keep on going with it is the question, I think, for a lot of people. Superman, the new one, 2025, James Gunn. I think it was pretty solid. It's not my favorite Superman movie. I still had issues in terms, especially cinematography. I think it's a mixed bag. Sometimes it feels cinematic. Sometimes it feels very TV like. I think the kids are not my favorite characters until like the dad part at the end. The mom, I think when she's introduced in the beginning with her husband with Pa Kent, is one of it was terribly written, and I feel bad for the actress because that scene does not come off really well, in my opinion. Of course, David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, I think are great. I love the Justice Game, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner, and Hot Girl. Though I think Hot Girl didn't get as much time, and I like Jimmy Olsen. I think the rest of the crew from the Daily Planet didn't get as much time, but yeah, definitely do recommend checking this out if you have Max at least. I don't know if it's a go out and buy it for a lot of people, but if you're a fan of heartfelt Superman, like again, it's not my favorite Superman movie, but I think it's solid enough. Next we got Megan 2.0. This one I actually really liked. I think for a lot of people they wanted more of the horror. Look, knowing where they're going with the story, and knowing why Megan was made was to protect Katie, her aunt's was to protect Katie after what happened to her parents, obviously, and then obviously Megan snaps, and that's because of being a machine, and sometimes that can and that's the thought process of that happening. And she decides to go after the people that tormented her. So in a way, I felt like if you're doing a sequel, don't do the same thing. and they go for it. They go for the Terminator 2 Judgment Day thing. Whether that works for a lot of people, I understand why this did not do well, especially at the box office. It really was. It really people were just, no, that's not. But again, I think I appreciate the ambitiousness they went for here, for the Terminator Judgment Day type of feel action. It jumped really far into the sci-fi action, and I don't think people were ready for that. But I think it was pretty solid for me. And then you had the new robot villain. I think it was pretty solid for what it was. These are just I had it in the collection. One of my favorite franchises. I know we're getting a fourth one with Brendan, the Mummy Returns, and the Dragon Emperor, but this one's going to be kind of, they're ignoring this one, which is because they're bringing back Rachel Weisz, which understandably so. I mean, Maria Bello is nothing her fault. It just doesn't work because it's not the same character we saw in the first two movies. It's a different chemistry, different persona. It doesn't feel like that same character that Brendan Fraser's character falls for in those first two movies. How to Train Your Dragon remake, easily one of the best live action remakes. I think the casts are terrific. Visually, the dragons are amazing. Just the look of the film, and yes, it is similar, 95% what people like to say, but I think they do make enough changes here and there with certain things, especially with Nico Parker's Astrid. And also keep in mind, Astrid, from what I know, was not a character that was actually based on the book. She was created for the animated movie, but I think she does a terrific job. I love their chemistry. Jared Butler coming back as the father, as Stoic, is just incredible. I can't wait for the second one. Hopefully they do make it their own with the second one, but have the moms come back, but do something, maybe a different villain, maybe. I don't know, but I'm excited for it. We got Final Destination Bloodlines, easily my third favorite. It's in my top 3 of Final Destination movies. I think what they do with the opening sequence is awesome. It's a lot of bloody kills. I think the story is really interesting. Different way of, it's not it's the granddaughter that sees what happened to her grandmother. It's really interesting, and the nice nod to Tony Todd is just so well deserved. I think they hit it home run right here, and 7's coming, but it's not gonna be directed by the same guys. This was directed by Adam Stein and Zach Lipnitsky. If you don't know, they directed the Kim Possible DCOM movie a few years ago, and Zach Lipnitsky also directed the Leprechaun Origins film, and they also did a movie called Freaks. I won't let that one out, but those other two are the more ones that I knew of, particularly. Next, we got Wolfman, which is one of the more controversial films. Well, I don't want to say controversial, but one of the more disappointing films, I want to say, of the year. I liked it. I liked the fires aspect. I like the dark, tragic nature of what the story is. Is there not a lot of action for people? It's also condemned to a certain area, which is not as exciting for people, but I like that aspect of it. It does its own thing. Is that risky? Sure, but again, the 2010 Wolfman didn't hit. So I don't know, the Leland Woodnell's last movie he did, another Universal project, the Invisible Woman, I think was great. Though I don't like the technology used for the Invisible. And I know you were trying to make it grounded and stuff. I think it came off hokey to me, that part. But I like the story. I like the everything else. I think just the look of it. I don't know. There's something about it. I didn't care for that look, but the makeup, I think they do a good job here, but I don't think it's enough Wolfman. I think that's another problem. But I think the performances are good. I like Julia Garner. I like Christopher Abbott. I think they really do well. I think also the chemistry, and this is probably on purpose, that they weren't as connected. But I think that was on purpose. But I get why people have flaws with that. But so, it has commentary behind the scenes designing Wolfman. This one is definitely something I would recommend, but again, it's not going to be for everyone. It's more of a, at worst case, I would say stream it on Peacock and see what you guys think. This one, I definitely would say go out and buy, or like how go buy it, buy the 4K, buy the Steelbook. Sinners is easily my favorite film of the year, best film of the year in my opinion. I don't know if it's gonna. I think it'll get nominations. I don't know if it's gonna win, but it's a horror, but it's a drama. It's a historical. It's such an interesting film. It plays with the history, with music, with vampires. It does everything, and it does it really well. Character development, the direction, the script. I think this is just easily one of the, I love this the two twin brothers and the different personalities Michael B. Jordan gives each of them. Haley Steinfeld is great. Jack O'Connell as the vampire is really has that charm, that sinister charm to him, and just it's such a fun, but it also kind of tragic. It has all the things you want in a movie. The post credit scene is incredible. Like, again, I think I did see this at least twice in theaters. Easily, this is a go buy this now. That's how good this movie is, I think, in my opinion. Again, there's some people that don't think. There's some people probably don't agree, but easily the best movie for me. Toxic Avenger. This was a solid reimagining and introducing people to Toxie. I think this has more of a heart to it, but still gives you the graphic and the ridiculousness, but still feels kind of serious much more. It's still over the top, but I think with the 81s, the older one, I think the original, I think is fun, but that one is going to be so hard for people to get into in terms of like a general audience. This is more general audience friendly, even though it's still weird. And I know the general audience thing is kind of frustrating for a lot of people, and I get it. But I mean, I'm just trying to say this is closer for people to get into Toxie, the character who becomes Toxie. Winston, I think, is a much more likable character and understandable, fits in now modern time, and what they say about like insurance and health issues. Whereas the original film, the Melvin is just a dork, and it's done very stereotypically, over the top, and it's just not as fun until he becomes Toxie. There's a lot more stuff you couldn't probably get away with now, but this is easily a fun time. It's bloody. Kevin Bacon's great. Elijah Wood is really good. I think Macon Blair does a good job. You also got Taylor Page, Jacob Tremblay. It's a really great cast. This is a lot of fun. It's definitely in my top 20 of the year. It's so good. It's so good. Or it's really good. I think I want a sequel. I don't know if we're going to get one, unfortunately, and how long that took to actually get released. It took 2 years for it to get a release in the theaters. Next, this was a present for my sisters because they're a big fan of this one. I prefer the 2018 Grinch film, actually. But this is iconic movie. Jim Carrey, iconic performance. Also, the actress Taylor Momsen is now in it. 25 years later now, is in a band. It's crazy different. I think this movie I didn't get to see this in theaters, unfortunately. I mean, I could have recently, but like when I was a kid, it's sold out. It's just it's a good time. I still watch it with the family when they want to, and I wanted to have this mainly for me. I just wanted the slipcover with the green, but this was for my sisters. This is one of their favorite movie. This is like their favorite Christmas movie, honestly. They could watch this. I mean, they could watch it all the time. It does have much more dirty humor or like adult humor here than you would think. I mean, you also get that in Law and Cat in the Hat, but I think the backstory is not as interesting to me as the 2018 film, but I think the narration maybe is a bit better. I think the music they choose is not as like as the 2018 film, but I think this still does a good job. At what it does. I think it visually looks really good. Again, the makeup. Again, this is Jim Carrey and Taylor Momsen's performances that make this movie. So yeah, I do recommend this. It does have a 25 years later, The Grant of the Gift. Bring director Ron Howard, producer Brian Grazer, and makeup artist Rick Baker and actor Taylor Momsen back on the making of the holiday classic. I got three steel books right here. Got Kraven the Hunter. Won't talk about much, but I really like this. I think it's one of the better Sonyverse films. I think the only one I haven't got it yet is Madam Web. I plan on picking that up because I have all the rest of the films, and I didn't hate it. But Kraven, it was definitely one I wanted to get. This was a little pricey, Sally. Because I got this as a present as well. Some of these are presents too. When I looked up the price for this, and I was like, oh damn, that is like $40. This still hasn't gone down for a 4K because it's the only way you can get the 4K. Unless you get like a international release that's a standard release. But I still think this was badass. I still think it was violent as hell for something. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson was great. Russell Crowe was great. I like Alessandro Nivola, who plays the Rhino. Alexi, I think they did a great job. I like the brother played by Fred Hisinger. I think they do. I think it does a good job of what it wants to do. I think it's unfortunate with Ariana DeBose as Calypso, because I think they give her elements of what Calypso is supposed to be, but they give her the storyline where she's kind of a lawyer or something like that, which I don't know if that's in the comics or anything, but that just was a choice. And then there's some ADR issues. Christopher Abbott's character I don't think was that interesting, to be honest. I think I haven't heard of that character, so I don't know if that if he's an interesting character or not, but he wasn't as interesting as the rest of the cast was. I know a lot of people didn't care for this, but I dug it, so I do recommend streaming it at least. It's on Netflix. If you're just looking for an action-packed time, I think you'll get it there. The new I Know What You Did Last Summer film. This is a really cool steelbook. Again, another one of the three steelbooks right here that you can't get a standard 4K. I enjoyed it for what it was. It did open on my birthdays, which was cool. I liked Madeline Klein. I liked Chase Sui Wonders. I pretty much liked the cast, pretty much. I liked Freddie Prinze Jr.'s return. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I think, was fine. I think she doesn't get as much to do. She doesn't get to tune the scenery like Freddie Prinze Jr. does. They do make choices, I think, and for some, they're not going to be earned. And I understand why it doesn't feel earned, especially how the third act. I think it's how the third act is handled, and you needed to do more with it. I appreciate the ambitiousness of what you're going for with the third act and the choices you're making, but man, you gotta make that third act needed to be a bit longer. Has some making of and outtakes and the cast. Has some brutal kills and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it for the most part. It's not. I think it's my second favorite of the four films technically, but next we got the third other movie that doesn't have a standard 4K, and that's Lilo and Stitch live action remake. Now this is the first remake to come out. This is definitely weaker compared to How to Train Your Dragon live action, but I think it still does what you want it to do. It does make some changes that it's not strictly just redoing the original film, but understandably some of the changes I think comes towards the end, and how Nani is thought about going to school, but she has to take care of Lilo. And I know in the culture it's a controversial thing, because in that culture, family is very important, so they wouldn't give up their child. No one would do that, what Nani did. I understand. I mean, it's definitely, I understand that. I do understand that, but I don't feel like she really gave. I think it's, I look at it different because the next door neighbor took her on with David. So to me, it was not really giving her away. It's letting her be a kid and letting her go and do what she needs to do, because she does feel like actually a actual teenager in her like early 20s, compared to like the animated film makes her feel like in her late 20s, maybe 30. That's how it feels like. She's probably, I think she's young, still young, that one, but she gives the vibe of a troubling struggling parent type. Here she does feel like a sister, and I think that's what they're going for. But I understand people, like, I understand why some they do some really cool visuals of recreation. How they handled Pleakley and Jumba, I know, has been a big thing, but again, this was $100 million budget. This was originally supposed to go to Disney Plus. I think so that's a reason why you don't see Gantu. I think they do. I think the girl who plays Lilo is terrific. So yeah, I do recommend checking this out if you're a big fan of the franchise. And yeah, they made, Stitch is Stitch. Like, they did a terrific job on him. So yeah, totally do recommend it. I recommend it for, again, fans. I think you can enjoy it while still loving the original film. To pick these were Avatar: The Way of Water. Again, I need to go back and rewatch this because I've seen it total twice. I've seen this 2 times at least. I really liked Way of Water, and I just saw Fire and Ash, or I think Fire and Ash. Loved it. I think it was awesome. I loved Way of Water and Ash. Obviously now it makes it easier to probably like this one a bit more. I watched this the first time in 2009. I was still in high school. But yeah, this franchise is becoming better and better for me, and I didn't know that was going to be possible for me. I didn't know I was going to be into these movies, and the last 2 movies have really, really done a great job of wanting me to be a fan of it. I love the world. I like the characters visually. It's really outstanding. I don't know what else much I can really. I'm not the guy to go into. I have someone. Shout out to Superfan, K, on Twitter or X. Yeah, man. Yeah, go talk to him. He knows the shit about Avatar. I'm not that guy, but I love the last 2. I love Way of Water and Fire and Ash. And with the rewatch of the first one, I probably will. It's still gonna be my weakest of the 3 films, but I at least will enjoy them. A horror slasher that came out, I think, in 2007, and finally got a director's cut. A Blu-ray release with 100 Tears. It's kind of like from when someone compared it like a low-brow version of Terrifier, but it's much more serious. It's much more fucked up, but the acting's a little bit cheesier. It has more of a snuff feel to it. But I remember seeing this on TV or renting something like this movie back in the day, like Hollywood Video or something like that, Blockbuster. But I don't remember. But I just remember this. But it has some behind the scenes stuff, making commentary. So, God is a Bullet. I would definitely recommend this one. Check this one out if you can. Micaiah Monroe, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, and Jamie Foxx. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen this one, I do recommend checking it out wherever you can. I don't know where else you can watch this. I found the Blu-ray for cheap. So, the Hellboy 20, the last Hellboy movie, I thought this was directed by Brian Taylor. I think this is pretty solid. It's definitely slower than the other films, but I think has it has a horror vibe to it. I think it's more in line with the comic from what I've heard. So it does feel like it takes time, but also what's also cool about this is got Jefferson Wright. He was from he put Jeffrey the butler in Fresh Prince. I think he was great as the pastor or whatever you want to say. Jack Kirsty, I think, does a serviceable job at least as Hellboy. I know some people call the costume cosplay, but that's Hellboy, isn't it? And I like, and the actress Adeline Rudolph, I think she was solid. So I think on the second watch it did feel much slower, but I still had a good time. Virgin Suicides. This was a definitely interesting watch and much more surreal and much more. It's a really intimate film, and it doesn't. Your expectations are very different from what you think when you hear the Virgin Suicides. It does get into really dark stuff, but in a way that's I really appreciate because it's not doing the obvious. Because I heard the original script for this, it was from a male's perspective. It was going to be much more violent, and I kind of, and when you think of violent, you're like, man, you're talking about suicides of these four girls, or these 4 or 5 sisters. I forget which it was, and you want to go in a violent way. It's like you seeing them doing stuff, kind of thing, and that's kind of, I don't know, that would have kind of been risky, but I really enjoyed it. It's a kind of a one-time watch. You have to be in the mood to watch it, but I think it's definitely something you should check out. Go out and check. Hard Eyes, I think it's one of the few Valentine slashers. I think to me is better than Valentine, and that was my favorite, one of my one Valentine horror movie that I enjoyed, because I think this gives you the kills, it gives you the character stuff better there. I love the Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt. I think they're great. I think Devasawa is not as interesting in this film. I like Jordan Brewster. I think the third act twist is not as exciting as you want it to be, I guess. I think because one of the twists, you're like, oh, that's, yeah. It has a making of, and in a commentary. Smile 2, easily I think the best of the two films. I think the performance from Naomi Scott is incredible. She's not a likable character, but I really appreciate it, and we're seeing it from a pop star's perspective, and visually, and the things that she goes through, messing with her mind. The movie gets messed up. It's just it is insane in a way. It's about, I think, almost 20 minutes longer than the first one. I do definitely recommend this one better. And I like the first Smile, but there's some generic things, especially with the Jesse I think it's Jesse Usher in that film as the psychologist's boyfriend, husband kind of thing. Just the generic stuff that is just not that interesting. Azrael, Samara Weaving's a badass. It's bloody, no dialogue. It's it deals with the raptures, and then there's the reason there's they cut their throats out or something, like, or their like tongue or something. I forget what it was. But yeah, it's on Shudder. So if you don't have the film, it's on Shudder, I believe, still. This has commentary, making of kind of thing. So, but like I said, bloody, violent, it's insane. But if you don't mind non-dialogue, and I think it's one of those movies I think you can get through. But again, if you're not into non-dialogue movies, it might test your patience. Next is Scream, but this is the newest public domain Mickey Mouse film, but this is the best one by far. This is from the producers of Terrifier 2 and 3. David Hart Thornton plays Screamboat Willie, and they do a really good job in understanding what what people would want from a film like this, to be fun, ridiculous, over the top, and they get all of it. Now, I wouldn't say this is the best public domain. I still have Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare at number 1. But I think this does a good job of doing what those other Mickey Mouse movies are not doing well, are not understanding. I think they're really doing that. They just announced a sequel. So yeah, I think also the actress Alison Patel and Jessie Posey, I think, do a really good job. I think some of the acting is pretty decent in here. There's some that's really over the top, but I think the main two performances are pretty solid, and they have some ridiculous performances from the people who play the making fun of the Disney princesses. Alien Romulus, Fede Alvarez, Alien movie, Callie Spaney, David Johnson before The Long Walk. Oh my god, he's really good here. Isabella Merced, I'm a big fan of her. She's good in here. But man, Fetty was able to make an alien movie that also respects what came before with Prometheus, Alien Covenant kind of feel. Apologize. But yeah, definitely do recommend Alien Romulus. It's definitely my top 3 Alien films, I think. Titan season 4. This is the final season. I haven't got to watch it yet, so that's why it's still sealed. I know it's on Max. Still haven't finished it, but I had the first 3 seasons. See No Evil, probably one of the more interesting remakes because the original is so dark and grim and fucked up, and that was the point of it, because there's some more context to why that movie's so dark. It deals with the cultures of those different in that film, but this one goes for more of the entertainment feel. It's still fucked up, but not in the way that the purists of the original would want. James McAvoy is terrific. The whole cast is great. I think the one that I think everyone does a good job, even Scoot McNairy, but he's the father who is still not is dealing with the will he be able to he's not I think he's not quite like the level of the father in the original, but there's still moments of he's not willing to kind of, I guess you want to say, man up kind of feel, protect his family kind of thing. But Mackenzie Davis is great. What was the other girl's name? Ezeline Franchosi. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, but I do recommend this, especially for people who do not want to see what that original is. If you guys know the ending, it's fucked up. You guys, I posted videos about these, but so I won't go into. So I got Bambi the Reckoning and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare 4K German releases. Yeah, I'm a big fan, obviously, of the Poonaverse. Pinocchio's coming out this year. Pinocchio's coming out this year. And they're starting to cast for Blood and Honey 3, and they also start filming that and Poonaverse this year, so I'm pretty excited. And then the other double dips are the collector's editions. These are big, awesome collector's editions for fans. They give you behind the scenes. They give you cards, posters, and stuff like that. So yeah, where am I gonna put these? I'll just put those right there for right now. Next, the Strangers Chapter 2. I know not a lot of people are a big fan of this one. I was a big fan of this. The expectations, I liked I had enough of owning the Strangers Chapter 1 on 4K, but I acknowledge the flaws in that movie. There's too many. It feels like they were trying to do the suspense thing with the original. I don't think you're gonna make that work. You need to go more brutal, more fucked up kind of style, more intensity, more relentlessness. And I feel like they did this with this one. They make risks. They make choices that no one was going to probably like except for a few people. I like it, but I acknowledge that that's also a flaw in what the strangers are meant to be, kind of thing. I think Madeline Perch, I think, is a terrific performance. I think all the actors in the film does a great job. I think visually it looks, and there's that one people complain about the CGI scene, and I'm like, I actually think that looked really good for what they were for doing that in this movie. It does feel like a different part of a movie, but I mean, again, they're doing much more here, doing different things. Again, choices not a lot of people would make, but again, yeah, I'm a fan. Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the beginning on 4K. This one has both the unrated and R-rated version. So if you had both the Blu-ray of because the Blu-ray, the only way you can get the unrated Blu-ray was a Canadian release, but it had no special features. And if you wanted the special features, you had to get the rated version of Blu-ray. Got Wicked on 4K. I think it was pretty solid. I liked the second one too, much to my surprise, because I didn't think I like musicals, but I didn't know if I was going to get into like that as much as I did. I appreciate, love the performances and everything visually. The visuals in the second one I think were better in the Digimon the movie. So this is Digimon the movie, but they have it in 3 separate parts, because that's how I think they did in Japan. For the U.S. release, they still have put in Digimon the movie right here, the dub that you saw in theaters. Outside of the Angela Anaconda thing, you have to find the DVD for that, unfortunately. The Substance, easily my favorite movie of last year. This was an incredible what it's talks about in what Hollywood deals with older women, and how they treat them and compared to the younger women, and it's very in your face about it, but it's also very entertaining, and that's hard for a lot of people. That's hard to make work, and it's bloody. It really goes for you. Think it goes one way, then it goes and it goes and it goes, and the performances from Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. Holy shit! Like, this was a movie that I heard people talking about, and I went to watch it. I didn't watch a single trailer. Again, best movie of the year for me last year. I wish Demi got the Oscar for this film. I really think she deserved it, but I know it wasn't gonna. Disappointed it didn't happen. Nosferatu, again, I think one of the better filmmakers in Robert Eggers. He really studies what he's filmed, the story he's trying to tell. It does a really great atmospheric performances. It doesn't hold back. Bill Skarsgård is unrecognizable. Lily Rose Depp just gives an excellent performance physically and perform, like, not just the actual performance, but the physical performance she does. It's just it is she gives it. Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, William Dafoe. This is a movie I highly recommend. If you guys haven't watched this, I do recommend it. Yeah, it does get very sexual, but it's kind of a sick love. It's a love story, but in a very messed up way. And it also deals with, at that time, women weren't allowed to be very promiscuous, like, in their sexuality. So that's also what it has to say about it. Terrifier 3, I mean, yeah, Terrifier 3. I think it's the best one of the 3 films, and I love 2. 1 is the weakest one, because that is more of a concept film. These last 2 have added more story, and I'm excited for 4. Yeah. Nothing else to say. The Santa scene was funny. I love the cast, especially the Laura Laverne as Sienna. She's one of my favorite final girls now. Like, Joker, Follow Do. I think this is better than the first one, and I think it's what I think people, what they don't like about it is the musical. I don't think they like the honest about that. Joaquin Phoenix reality as the Joker, and really it's not really. Gaga does good visually. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I think Todd Phillips does a great job. I think this was also a fuck you to people as well. Even if they don't say it, it's a fuck you to some of the people who didn't want to see Gore or whatnot, or thought he was the real Joker kind of thing. Monster Squad, haven't seen it. I've seen clips, scenes, but watched it completely yet. Venom: The Last Dance. Solid. I think it's the best of the 3 films. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween is my favorite movie of all time, or I want to say my favorite horror film of all time. It's definitely in my top 5 of all time. I know that's a lot to say, and it's the director's cut. I don't care about Michael saying die. I think the tragic nature, how fucked up this movie is, that deals with the PTSD and the Love Hurt song. I think the performances are great. So, yeah, I had to add the original edition that to my collection. I have it in the box set, but I don't like taking out the box set. Batman Mask the Phantasm, great Batman movie. Furiosa and Mad Max Fury Road. Family's a big fan of this one. I'm more a fan of Furiosa. I know they intertwine, obviously. But this one, I think I like the story, having the story much more than just all action. Hold on. Sorry about that. Got Forest Hills. It's okay. Not. This was the return of Shelley Duvall. It's on Tubi if you want to watch it. Lisa Frankenstein, I think a really solid debut from Zelda Williams, Robert Williams' daughter. Definitely do recommend this. Super Mario Brothers movie. I didn't like. I was shocked as much as I liked it. I think it's very different. I'm not saying it's the best video game movie adaptation. I think it's an interesting choice to make what they did. But the music choices, they definitely, I'm like, okay, definitely choices. It does have the original work print on there. Little Nicky, Adam Classic, in my opinion. The Mean One, the director who did just did Screamboat. This is also with David Thornton. It's not as good as Screamboat. I think it has its issues, especially with the effects. They didn't obviously have the budget to do a certain effect in the kitchen, in a kitchen in a restaurant. It still has its fun moments, but it does take itself a bit too seriously for the concept. Jeepers Creepers Reborn Steelbook. I know a lot of people hate this movie. It's one of the worst films. A lot of people come. I like the movie. I acknowledge the flaws in the visuals, especially in like the choices that the director makes that he took from his other previous movie, Iron Sky. Not smart, but they're also dealing with COVID. But I'm not saying. But I enjoyed it. I think it's better than Jeepers Creepers 3 in my opinion, and I like it more than 2. It's not close to the original film, but I mean, but yeah, you have to admit that's still a pretty gnarly steelbook though. At least, I think those ones I just did. Yeah, the last few, you got the Mousetrap. Like I said, probably not the worst Mickey Mouse movie, but there's going to be a sequel, but disappointing. I'll just like say, on the second watch, just not as, 13 going on 30. One of my sister's favorite films. And I liked it when I was younger. Eat, Pray, Love. Never seen it. And it's really for my sister, but I'll probably watch it someday. The Goonies, haven't watched it. I decided not to get the 4K because I just felt like, just get the Blu-ray because it was cheap. The Little Rascals, nostalgia for me as a kid. Grease, like it more than the few times I've watched it over the years. The ending song is my favorite, of course. Hop, my sisters were a fan of this, so I picked it up, and this has Kaylee Cuoco in it. Wolfman, Wolverine Origin, X-Men Origin Wolverines is the only reason I have this is because it's it was for $3. And it's the only one I'd have in the collection, so I might as well have it in there. And it has the slipcover. Into the Woods, also one of my sister's favorites, one I still gotta watch. Waterboy, one of my least favorite Adam Sandler comedies, surprisingly. Yeah, it didn't work for me. There's another one that works a lot better for me. I know a lot of people won't like what I have to say about that, but, our choice, we like what we like, That one is Jack and Jill. Yeah, I like Jack and Jill a bit more than this. I know. Princess of the Frog, haven't seen it, heard good things about it, just haven't got a chance to see it yet. And the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, yeah, and these are the original 3 discs. So, yeah, that's all the stuff I picked up. I hope you guys did enjoy all that. I wish I didn't stack all like I did, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought of all this pickup. I would show you everything, but it's kind of a mess right now. But so yeah, let me know what you guys thought. This is Brandon the Movies, or Let's Talk Horror Movies, signing off. Peace.